GSC has been revived.
Yeah, for the third time. But in all seriousness, we'll hopefully be doing more content next year. It's just been pretty busy. But today we have my Rhihimon Toolbox Purple Hybrid deck list that I took to the Digimon European Championship. I placed 177, I believe, out of like 700 players, with a record of like X4, so can't complain. I was really happy I took the list because I wanted to build more for consistency, and I feel this was the more consistent version of Purple Hybrid. So we'll just quickly walk you through the list, maybe a bit more of why I played certain cards and my deck building philosophy for it. But for those of you who just care what the cards are, we'll just go in. So we play 4 Tsunomon and 1 Cupimon. I'll explain more later, I guess. For the rookies, we have 4 Ukkomon BT16, 3 EX6 Salamon, 2 BT7 Bokomon, and 1 BT7 Flamemon. For the level 4s and the main bulk of your hybrids, we play 4 BT18 Loweemon, 3 BT18 KaiserLeo, 2 BT7 KaiserLeo, 2 Duskmons, and 1 Velgrmon. For the 5s, we play 4 the namesake of the deck against Rhihimon BT18.
What's up with that one?
Right, so I managed to only get 3 from locals. If anyone watching and lives in the UK, not Spain, not France, not anywhere else, just the UK has one, hit me up. I do want them. Then 1 BT7 JetSilphymon, 1 BT7 Beowolfmon, and 1 BT17 Argomon. For 6s, we played 2 BT10 Venus, 2 EX7-030, 1 BT18 ShadowSeraphimon Ace, and 1 BT7 AncientGarurumon. For the Tamers, your actual level 3s of the deck, we play 4 BT18 Koichi, 3 BT7 Koichi, 2 BT18 Takuya and Koji, and 1 BT format Ishida. And then what's up with the options? We play just 2 Jack Raids, and then a suite of 1 Ancient Guardian Deity, 2 Jack Raids, you can see that, 1 Ancient Guardian Deity, 1 Darkness Wave, and 1 Schwarz Rhihsats. So that is the list, and now I'll just be kind of going back to the cards and sort of like explaining my reasonings. So this is the second time I'm recording this. Let's try to be more coherent. So basically, as I said before, the name of the game is Rhihimon. He is a really flexible card, being able to play out any of your tamers with inheritable effects, which just means you're always plussing on plussing. Being able to digivolve for 3 by loading guys from your trash, again, gets you out of really awkward situations. And the inheritive minus 4k definitely comes up. It's just to clear smaller bodies, and so this is the sort of focal point of the deck. So if you wanted to build around Rhihimon, obviously you'd build around his sort of like tamer, which the one that I played main were the 4 BT18 Koichis. This is your infinite grind game, your way to loop back all of your hybrid and tamer pieces, which I feel is the strongest advantage of Purple Hybrid, just that continuous loop over and over again. You can grind out games as long as you want to, and basically always having a hybrid means you can always put your opponent on thinking, oh, you better have it. Hybrid for game. Plus, this is the reason I also played it for. This is the way how your opponent can't memory choke you. I think the issue with the other Purple Hybrid lists are that it takes them a while, or they focus on this Koichi instead, the BT7, which is, this one is better for cycle. However, this one means that you can always go into a hybrid basically as long as you have one of the level 4s. Just being able to trash a hybrid card to gain a memory is very, very useful, and it stacks really, really well. We played 3 of this one because it's still useful for cycle. The memory gain does come up, but I didn't really, because your tamers are so recursive, I felt 3 was more than enough, and I need to fit more room for like slightly more tech options. And so these are obviously the core of your strategy, but the other main pieces are the, just go here, I'll just tuck these away in fact. The main pieces here are the 4 Loweemon. This is the lifeblood of your deck. Additional cycle is always great, but just being able to digivolve one of your tamers or Digimon into a hybrid from your trash comes up so often. It always again means that you can always get into your Rhihimon to play another tamer. You can use some of your more niche options this is definitely the star of the show. I'm actually surprised that, again, the mill hybrid lists play either very little copies to none of this card, and I feel that's incorrect. When you're going to a 10-round tournament, a long event, you want consistency and you want to be able to always do your game plan of looping into another hybrid, so I feel this was very important. And then we played the 3 of this Kaiser and 2 of this one. I preferred this copy at 3 just because the retaliation inherit is guaranteed, which is very useful into certain matchups. It prevents your opponent from trying to swing into you, or just allows you a bit more removal than you'd think. And again, this one's also clears level 4 lower, so it's nice in the early game for control. And then I played 2 of this one because it can digivolve over basically any of your level 4 hybrids for 1, which is very important because it gives you that additional cycle, but also it digivolves off any of your purple tamers for 2. There's only one tamer, purple tamer, that you can't digivolve over for 2 with these guys, which is the BT format. But in a long tournament, I want to make sure that one memory differential could be very important. So this was very useful. In addition, because Rhihimon requires you to load a Loweemon and KaiserLeo from your trash underneath the tamer to digivolve, I wanted to increase the names, so I felt like playing 5 Kaisers was important, and these have their own actual uses in the deck, whereas I wouldn't play an additional BT7 Loweemon because it's just a vanilla, there's no real point. So this is what I would consider the core of my deck. And then the other then you started building around your flex options. So I still wanted to have the flexibility of the Dusk and Velger for the mill package, so it's quote unquote. Dusk is just very good to play around aces by changing the color, and also it still has a similar effect to Lowe, but just digivolving level 4 hybrid onto one of your tamers for a cost less can mean you can do really cool loops with you swing, you digivolve into another tamer into Lowe, cool, this dies, you swing, you digivolve another tamer into Dusk. You can keep that little loop going, which came up a lot of the time to clinch out certain matches. But I felt 2 was enough because, again, you have a lot of recursion in the deck off of your Koichi, so you can always get back to Dusk. And I played the 1 Velger because it wasn't the mainstay of my deck. If anything, it felt like more of a brick because I'm not leaning into the Dusk package. But again, the mill is sometimes nice, being able to get a big body to swing into something, and it's again its AoE ability to sort of clear the lowest level of Digimon your opponent controls did come up a lot during the match. Then I guess we can move into the other sort of little flexible spots. So we played the 1 mat. It's nice recursion of your options in Digimon. It just felt nice as a 1-of, and I only really wanted it to recur the Jack raids in specific situations, or maybe the Darkness Wave, which we get onto. But I feel the better tamer overall was the Takuya. Apart from being a memory fixer, just being able to load up any of your hybrids just means it's a very versatile, flexible card. You can load 2 Rihis over a turn to do -8 on a swing, which comes up. You can load, for example, the Duskmon to make sure that you, on deletion, can get another tamer. There's so many possibilities you can do with this card, which is great. Again, being a memory fixer is pretty nice. Aim of the game is not to be choked. And the end of turn is just a way to clinch out games that you shouldn't have won. Hybrid for a game with pseudo blitz is always nice.
Any of the tamers you would have played?
So the only one, so I know some people considered the AGs because it synergizes with because they synergize with the inheritable effect, part of the Digimon of your hybrids, but it didn't really feel that useful to me. I'm not getting any value from say the Dark Animal SOC alliance part. So the only other tamer I think I did play once was the BT7 Zoe, because again it's a tamer you can digivolve over, and getting to look at your security, pull out your hybrids, and getting that continuous knowledge of what's in your security but always getting another resource back is pretty good. So that was maybe what I would consider potentially changing the mat out for, because they sort of share similar functions for me in that sense. Then I guess we'll do the
Tech 5s.
Tech 5s. So Argomon, the easiest one to explain is there are hybrid matchups, and locking down tamers is pretty good. Only confliction that came up a couple of times was because I'm on the sort of yellow base top end. I couldn't digivolve over this, which was slightly annoying because just having to leave it there and not being able to like. So basically, it's meant to be there for one turn to sort of again stop your hybrid opponent from popping off, and then you can go in. But it was still decent and came up, but I think this would work better in a purple-based top end. The JetSilphymon recovery is sick. Loweemon be able to go digivolve into it from the trash over and over again. You can always recover, and being a one-cost Evo sometimes lets you bridge into your 6s. The Beowolf was the sort of like last choice. Again, just being, I think I don't really play any blockers bar like the ShadowSeraphimon at the top end, so having to stem off your opponent's aggression if you don't have a Venus or you don't have like the ShadowSeraphimon, this was just another nice option that's recurable. Being able to make so that a tamer Digimon can't suspend is very useful. I used it to stun out the Takuya so they couldn't go for the like ancient combo. You can use it to stun out a Davis and Ken so you don't get your source stripped, so you can potentially like play around it. And it's inheritable, does come up to bounce level 4. Another cool thing to load under like the Takuya Koji and stuff. So I'm very happy I played it. I think this was probably no other 5s I would probably play, at least at the moment. The only thing we toyed around was the Restringimon Superior mode because it's removal and haha, I can go swing at the end of turn. But again, this is just consistency. It's always, aim of the game, always consistency. A hybrid, I can always get it back or always digivolve into it.
Old Rhihimon maybe?
Potentially, because it sort of serves the same purpose as this in terms of like the cheap Evo cost, but it specifically having to die to get any advantage off of playing a tamer when you already have so much tamer recursion in your deck just felt kind of pointless to me personally, but each their own. And we'll just go through the 6s. So two Venuses. It's Venusmon, the most proactive yellow card in the game apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, Venusmon was really good. Just being able to stun your opponent out for a turn just so you can get your hybrid swing the next turn, or especially since I played a lot of ancient like sort of red hybrids like AncientGarurumon piles, it was very useful just to like stop them. When you do the first one they kill it, cool. You do the second one, that's pretty much game. So I'm happy I played it too.
Luga as well. I feel like that's the only card that you have for Takamika.
Yeah, that's fair. Like it does help out in the Takamikazuchi matchup as well. I only played one, but it did definitely put in work then. Then we have two Cendrillmon, and I guess the little cute little familiar token. This card is your Blitz Omni for game. It just lets you steal games you shouldn't have, but also it's your removal in combination with the Rhihimon and the token. When you overclock, you're doing minus 13 worth of DP reduction, which can clear one big stack, so a couple little bodies. It's just a very versatile card being either a removal or a finisher. I have no complaints. It came up in all the matches that I saw it in. And also just remember, small point, remember this is also a start of main effect, so you just get free tokens. Like sometimes the game grinds out a bit more, and you can overclock again. And then the one of ShadowSeraphimon. So I wanted to play an ace. ShadowSeraphimon was probably the best. Digivolve is very good in the format. The -5 is very nice, and having a blocker was great. Honestly, throughout my run, it didn't matter too much. There is an argument where this could become an Ancient Sphinxmon that we talked about. Ancient Sphinx is just a decent removal, a recurable level 6 for you to always get back. And I think just being able to pop something for like 4 does matter. But it's okay. Didn't really matter. And then one AncientGarurumon. Again, you're a hybrid deck, so you can. And it's 10 warrior tag. You can always add it back. It's another way to do pseudo damage just by bouncing card back, and again synergizing with your stack, which is actually really great. That you can gain so much advantage from this, like dying, being able to Loweemon spit out the tamer that's underneath it, add back a priest, spit out another tamer. Like, it was a really nice one of, and I got to resolve it multiple times again because the aim of the game of this deck is recursion. You could potentially think into like a thought about playing like the burst mode ace, the Cendrillmon burst mode ace, because it plays out a tamer. It's a big guy. You have some yellow tamers, but I think that playing more sixes was the right call. And then what do we have left? I'm pretty sure it's just these and the options. So we'll go through the options and other the rookies. Gonna go end the twos. 2 Jack Raid, memory extension, really good. Also needed a slot card security. You're on average gaining 1 to 2 memory, in the grand games 3, and it's an insane card. Probably should be at 1. Ancient Guardian Deity, fairly standard in the decks. It's being able to play a tamer for cheaper, potentially chunk your opponents some nice, and then being able to recur a hybrid is good. And because this is Ancient Warrior tag, you can always recur it, so it's a nice loopable one of. We'll go with the Schwarz Lehrsatz next. I was afraid of wideboard decks. Like, while you do have the Cendrillmon, which can do like little tags, typically you're passing turn to do that, or you can only do, because the numbers are like set, it's a bit harder to deal with everything. Schwarz just felt like a good AoE option to deal with all level 5s or lowers. I was anticipating maybe playing more like Lord Knight or more wider going decks, but didn't come up, so therefore this didn't come up. This could potentially be another like one of the options we talked about before for like 5 or 6, but it was eh. This card, however, Darkness Wave, was really good for me. Being a 1-cost way to, because you primarily play a lot of yellow Digimon, to recur your yellow or purple Digimon for the trash is insane. It's how I got to resolve Venusmon 3 times, how I got an extra copy of Sandry. It was just a nice flexible option to get back whatever piece I needed. I'm very happy I played it, and perhaps I would maybe play 2. And then rookies, aim of the name was consistency, either in consistency in gaining memory or consistency in seeing pieces. So I went with what I believed were the best cards for that, being 4 BT16 Ukkomon, really good card, no explanation needed, it's always good for cycling. The 3 EX6 Salamon was always really good. You're basically always going to push this out from raising, gain a memory, which is very nice, and it's also kind of played from the -2 inheritable in case Floodgate comes up, because you can digivolve your Loweemon or Kaisers on top of it. It was mainly there for the memory game, but I was really happy that it was the most consistent rookie of my deck in terms of its use. We then played 2 Bokomons. I just wanted more ways to search for hybrids and tamers. This is an OG, but its effect is still strong. Gaining 2 memory, so making some of your Digivolutions free is really good. The only reason I played 2 of it is that it can't really evolve in the back, and that felt like it might conflict, but I'm just happy I played it. And then we played 1 Flamemon, so similar principle to Bokomon to search for your hybrids and tamers. And the inheritable effect is really nice because this is a hybrid, so it's always a recurable rookie for you to put in the back if you offer your Koichi. You can load it under the Takuya Koji to then get, you know, that inheritable to play at a tamer. It felt right as a one-up because it was so recurable, and I'm very happy with the rookie lineup. And then basically the eggs, we're going for consistency for Tsunomon because it's every time you trash a card, which is very consistent in your deck off the Koji, the Loweemon, whatever, you draw a card. I was really happy with it. I definitely got a lot of value out of it. It was always really good. The only argument would be that you could play the Demi-Mirror and slot of this, because if you were expecting a lot of Mirage, especially, the Demi-Mirror is technically more controllable. There will be some matchups, some things where you have to trash a card to progress your game state, and that will unfortunately trigger the Mirage. But I was very happy that I picked this over for the round. And then we played the 1 Cupimon because, again, getting the memory gain is nice, and again, getting them into your trash obviously will be useful for certain matchups.
No Gazis, no Floodgates, no Sykes.
Okay, so my issue with the Floodgates, personally, was that, yes, the Floodgates are good, but I have to actually commit memory to playing them while not progressing my game state. So if I had a Gazimon in my hand and I had a Tamer in my hand, I'd be much more likely to play the Tamer, because the Tamer in the long run is progressing my game state. The Gazi, while good, being a Floodgate, is also easily removable, and I cannot recur it back. If I was playing a purple-based top-end list, which I might be working on during next year, if you'd like to see that, obviously let us know in the comments. I think you could play a lot more ways to recur those floodgates, in which I would probably play them. Did it punish me when I played against Mirage? Yes, but I played against one Mirage and more like hybrids matchups and both red and purple hybrid matchups, which I think just having my tamers and having more advantage was more important. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's pretty much the deck. The only thing I actually wanted to say is that what I always wanted to see in my hand and what I always mulliganed for was ideally a tamer, primarily this Koichi, a rookie being either your ideal being either of these, and then you realistically just wanted a level 4 hybrid, but ideally the Lowe, because I feel like this gets you a lot more advantage than you think about. So preferably, honestly, I wanted it to be this, because you can go here in the back, play this for turn, like going first, you pass your opponent for memory, whatever, they do their thing, you can raise, ideally it'd be another hybrid based card. We'll just pick this for example. You get to raise, you gain a memory, you trash this, gain another memory, get another card, Digivolve, draw one, trash one. It just, you're gaining so much advantage and being able to play from your second turn, which I think was very important. So if I were to play this deck, this is the type of hand that I'd be looking for. I'll probably end up putting my matchups like spread on the screen somewhere here because I can't quite remember them at the moment, but you get to see what I played against. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and you'll see more content from us shortly.
Well, thanks, Terry.
Shh, not a zombie channel.